streets, and they are not known to marry. Oh, there we go. Okay, maybe that's why she's not an option. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Members of a sacred cult operating aboard this ship have requested an audience. They wish to present gifts and introduce themselves to the new captain. What sacred cult? They call themselves the Bloodspun Web. The cult defends the flagship from both internal and external threats. Lady Theodora held them in high regard and looked favorably upon their activities. Is that DLC? I don't remember this. I am ready to receive them. I will commence preparations at once, Lord Captain. Yo, what? What? My carpet, what are you doing? Those on the deck watch in awe as the final figure moves gracefully into a ceremonial pose. Some of the officers whisper in excitement while others murmur prayers to the God Emperor.
The Undying Emperor commanded us to spin a web of blood around his children, and we obeyed. We obey still.
Okay, one sec. We're gonna shrink me muck here just a little bit so you guys can see the pictures better. All right. They fall silent as a tall young woman steps forward. She moves toward you soundlessly, the dim light casting shadows across the mask which conceal her face. The masked cultists repeat the words in a mournful whisper.
Domin von Valancius, death has whispered your name. We disown Domin Theodora. We renounce our oath to her.
The woman's slender figure has been fitted with a metal claw. She points it in your direction and gazes at you from behind her bone mask with the cold, grim eyes of an assassin. She pulls out a sinister curved blade, and similar weapons suddenly appear in the hands of her motionless companions.
And now we
what?
give the gift of our blood to you. It is the gift of death. Death has whispered your name. The followers of the tenets of the web swear fealty to their new overlord and offer proof of their devotion.
Their blades sing through the air and rivulets of crimson flow onto the deck. The young woman bows her head reverently as she hands you a heavy parcel. The others bow their heads as well. They seem unconcerned by the blood that trickles down their fingers.
We give you a blade, the silent verdict. The Undying One has chosen you to wield this instrument of death. We give you one of our own, Kibella. She will be your shield and shadow. And we give you the blood of these traitors. The tenets of the web will purify their souls.
I don't know if she's dogmatic or heretical. Like she's for the Emperor, but she's real crazy about it. Silent Verdict, two-handed melee weapon. Death Cult weapon gains the following. Okay. Lore test succeeded. You have heard many stories about death cults such as this one. These devoted holy assassins of the Imperium have turned death into a form of worship of the Emperor. They are exemplary slayers, invisible executioners, and the scourge of traitors, heretics, and fallen souls. Many righteous people honor them as votaries of the faith, while others see their fearsome rituals as frenzied spectacles touched by madness. Examine the cultists. The cultists are all voidborn. Their lithe, sinewy bodies are clad in light armor, which allows them to move with an acrobatic's nimble grace and strike with an assassin's swift surety. Their red and black vestments are adorned with sharp spikes and ritual jewelry. Where time and training have worn their garments threadbare, you can make out patterns of bleeding lacerations. Examine the captives. The prisoners cower beneath the weight of your gaze. Blood drips down the tear-stained faces of the captured officers, technomats, and workers. A word has been carved into each of their foreheads with meticulous precision. Traitor, heretic, apostate, renegade. The cuts have been diligently and regularly reopened to prevent healing. Oh my god!
These renegades committed treachery against their domin. Their lips once praised the name of Kunrad Voigtveer.
Oh, F that guy.
But it is your name
Fuck him.
they will whisper as they cross over to the other side.
Interesting. So a death cult watches over my crew. They who honor the Emperor through killing, who devote their every deed to serving him. Sacred executioners.
The Domin has discerned our essence. This is a great
Law Fairy, I saw
honor
that.
for the blood-spun web. We have woven the bays of this ship together with the threads of our faith for many years. We keep the greatest relic, his tarot, through which he sends us his blessed revelations. We obey the whispers of the Undying One. This is our service to him. This is our service to you.
That was the finest velvet in all the universe, and you know how hard it is to get blood stains out of it. Okay, so she said we keep his greatest relic as tarot. The Emperor's Tarot is a deck of psychoactive cards bearing sacred and meaningful images. Tarot cards are used for divination and predicting the future. They are believed to be able to capture images sent by the Emperor himself. In the hands of a skilled psyker, the Emperor's Tarot can be a truly potent divination tool. Your heart is filled with awe as you gaze at the cultist. You recognize this feeling. You've experienced it before when you walked through the scorching flame and survived. The eyes of your grim guests burn bright with sacrificial fervor. They serve the God Emperor with wholehearted faith and devotion. Tell me about yourself, Kibala. Are you the leader of the blood-spun web, or its herald, or its servant?
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web.
That answers nothing.
The honor of this title is bestowed only upon those who have ushered more souls than... It is shameful to speak of one's own deeds. I'm here to become your shadow, not to make boasts.
She touches a slender finger to the fresh wound on her hand and paints the symbol of a lock across her lips in blood. That's kinda hardcore. Okay. What exactly does a cult like the Blood-Spun Web do?
The tenets of the web teach us to read the threads of the future and understand the hearts of others. When a soul is filled with the poison of corruption, we know its time has come. We bring liberation. 3 strikes, 3 rebukes, 1 blade. This is how we serve the Undying One. This is how we serve you and your flagship.
You couldn't do it in 1 hit?
But there are others. The virtuous martyrs who contravene his design without realizing it. Those who have come too close to faltering or committing an apostasy, but have not erred yet. We present such souls to the Undying One.
Wait, what? Those who have come close but have not erred yet? You kill innocent people?
We do not desire their death. We do not seek them out in the darkness. They come to us, and we usher them from this life. If his
They're like, hello, Madam Kibala. I almost did a bad. Please stab me.
To accept these martyrs.
You mentioned the tenets of the web. Oh. You mentioned the tenets of the web. What are they?
Our laws and teachings, our philosophy and way of life, our art of combat and spiritual dogma. The tenets are the blood-spun web itself. Humanity owes its existence to the undying Emperor's sacrifice. It is he who protects us from a darkness of terrors. Hence, each of us has a duty to serve him, and a duty to die for him. To act otherwise is to waste the life that has been given to us by the Undying One, to become a thief. We help others understand this. We help them to live and die righteously.
Well, as a dogmatic rogue trader, I mean, all this seems like it's pretty in order. You have my blessing. May your blades bring swift death to the Emperor's enemies.
The blood-spun web will not forget your words, Domin. They are the wisdom of the tenets and the benediction of our duty.
The eyes of the cultists burn bright with righteous fervor. Nod toward the captives. Why have you brought this rabble to the upper decks?
So you may offer the souls of these traitors as a gift to him. You have the authority to order their execution. Their blood will bind us together through him. For the God Emperor, the Undying One, is death itself. The Undying One is duty itself. Give the order, Domin. Let a spinner of the blood-spun web undergo the test of a sacred trial.
The others echo her words from beneath their bone masks. Undergo the test. Give the order, let a spinner of the blood-spun web undergo the test of a sacred trial. So, she says, let a spinner undergo the test, and the options are give weapons to the traitors, it is time for Kibala to prove herself, or I will judge them myself. And I'm not a spinner, so I don't think that was the intent. Okay. I guess, like, she wants you to say one, but if you say two, you can order two if you want. Let's see what she's going for. Give weapons to the traitors. It is time for Kibala to prove herself.
A dagger that has not sliced through sinew is nothing more than a toy. Let the final dance begin.
Kibala motions to the other cultists. They release the captives from their restraints and place weapons in their hands.
Your Emperor won't save you!
I will be your end.
Surrender to the Dark Powers!
Okay, what do we got? Strike, one hit, cleave, hits everyone in 3 tiles in front of you, just like the warrior one. Blade Dance. Make 3 melee attacks against random targets, including allies, adjacent to the Blade Dancer, each dealing 50% of their normal damage. Blade Dance is a melee burst attack that does not count toward your attack limit. This ability can only be used with a sword equipped. If 2 swords are equipped, you make 2 attacks with each one. Oh my god. Death from above. Leap into the air and land on the selected cell. Upon landing, do 9 damage to all adjacent enemies. This leap can be made to any unoccupied cell within a 3-cell radius in the Blade Dancer's line of sight. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. The Blade Dancer cannot jump to a cell that is inaccessible in combat. This ability can be used multiple times per turn, but each use requires a charge to be spent. The Blade Dancer gains a charge of this ability whenever they kill a target, excluding kills made with Death from Above itself. Raining Blood. Your next single target melee attack splashes blood in a 5-cell cone behind the target. The Death Cult Assassin and allies in the affected area gain the Blood Blessed effect. Every enemy in this area, including the initial target, suffers the Blood-Stained effect. Both effects last 2 rounds. Additionally, all the cells in the affected area now are covered in blood for 2 rounds. Whenever a creature interacts with such a cell, moves through them, stands in them, it receives an additional +1 stack of Blood Blessed or Blood Stained. Additionally, for every 10 wounds the Death Cult Assassin loses throughout the entire combat, each creature affected by Blood Blessed or Blood Stained gains +1 stack. Okay, wait, hold on. So, Blood Blessed on allies is +2% damage for each stack. Blood Stained on enemies is they take 2% more damage for each stack. Alright, let me see if I got this. So Death from above, right there.
As honor ordained, blade whispers your name.
And then cleave here.
A tribute to the
And then blade dance. Wow! That was 5 dudes with guns. Imagine if one of them shot the Rogue Trader here and the Rogue Trader died. They would feel really stupid about this.
The shadows will see killing. Brings me no pleasure. Death is a blessing. As honor, the other side awaits. Death is a blessing.
Steam achievement, Death Waltz. Kill 3 enemies in 1 turn with Death Waltz. She's pretty brutal. Yeah, feels kind of busted for how low a level we are. Kibula. A cut to the heart, a cut to the throat, a cut to the stomach. These wounds have been inflicted according to his pleasure. The blood of the apostates will wash away the stain of their treachery, so that their souls may prostrate themselves before the Undying One's throne and beg his forgiveness. Kibula wipes the blood from her blade in one swift movement. I have acted with reverence and shown proof of my loyalty. Will you accept me, Damin Mukluk? Will you make me your shield and shadow? High Factotum Janris Danrock. Your lordship, the spinners of the blood-spun web were watching, tracking, and killing Von Valencia's enemies long before the warrant of trade passed to Lady Theodora. However, their blade has also been known to cut short the lives of highly upstanding persons. The factotum swallows nervously, casting a fleeting glance at Kibala. But I certainly do not in any way condemn the deeds of the deeply esteemed cult. I am sure they must have had good reason. Jocasta Sarbak. A stern-looking woman clears her throat. The cultists are the scourge of the seditious. They bring the unrighteous to ruin. The enforcers respect the blood-spun web, for we share a common goal to bring his light and his harsh justice to the darkest depths of this ship. Heinrich Montag. Scourge of the seditious or not, folk are afraid of them for a reason. A couple of watches ago, these spinners took a trained driver to pieces for some kind of ritual. I don't know what old Malok did to earn that privilege, though, and who's going to feed his family now? Heinrich takes a drag on his low stick, exhaling the thick smoke through his clenched teeth. But that's a lower decker problem. What matters is that the bloodspun web serves you faithfully, Lord Captain. Confessor Adalbert. No picture for this guy. A plump old man in rich robes of a confessor adds respectfully. My predecessor's predecessor once delivered a sermon about how the spinner saved this vessel from the servants of the archenemy. The bloodspun web paid the price in blood, a river of scarlet that flowed the decks from bridge to bilge. They became the blood of the flagship, the pulse in its veins and the beat of its heart. The great sacrifice earned them the favor of House von Valancius. Do you think that we added the word blood enough times? Trials of Mana flashbacks? Mana. Confessor, tell me about the spinner's great sacrifice. The vessel was beset by famine and pestilence during a long warp jump. The flagship wandered uncharted paths in the Immaterium for 20 cycles straight. Servants of the archenemy used the despairing hearts of the crew to infiltrate the ship, and death followed. The hungry became the hunted, the famished became a feast. The exhausted crew was too weak and emaciated to resist the invaders. But then the spinners emerged from the depths. They stood alone against hundreds of foes, yet they did not falter. They did not sleep or rest as their blade-tip dance brought death. Though many spinners fell, the blood-spun web held strong until the flagship left the turmoil of the warp. It seems that not all of the officers have been presented to me yet. Indeed, your lordship. Jocasta Sauerback, at your service. I am entrusted with the honor of commanding the enforcers and keeping order aboard this vessel. It is my duty to punish trespassers, suppress disobedience, and repel any and all attacks on the ship. And you did a great job so far. Confessor Adalbert, your lordship. As a humble servant of the Emperor, I am entrusted with the high honor of being the ship's confessor, or in other words, the highest spiritual authority on your vessel. I'm here to oversee the purity of the crew's faith. I officiate in the officer's chapel, and also look after the ship's reliquary. I wish to hear what my retinue thinks. I have heard, though only at a distance, the prayers the spinners offer up to him. I have seen how their deeds fill the people's hearts with confidence in the inevitability of his wrath. The Bloodspun Web's loyalty to the Emperor is without question, as is their willingness to lay down their lives in the fight against the archenemy. Although Lady Theodora never granted the cult an audience or brought a spinner into her retinue, she respected the Bloodspun Web and approved of its mission. It is strange. Their shadowy forms are swathed in darkness, yet a radiant light burns within them like scarlet flame. I think it is a good sign. It is rare to see anyone filled with such light, even among servants of the faith. You will be my shadow, Kibella. Kibella's movements are slow, almost rhythmic, as she removes her ceremonial mask. Oh, her portrait even updated. Look at that. The dark shadows of her eyes accentuate the deathly pallor of her skin, which is covered in ritual scars. Henceforth I am your shadow, Daumin Mukluk von Valancius, an instrument of death placed in your hand by the Undying One. For so it was ordained, and so his tarot forspoke. Undying One's just the Emperor, right? Yeah, Emperor of Mankind. The young woman bows her head once more. I also come bearing an invitation from the Vizier of the Bloodspun Web. He wishes you to know that the doors of the Undying One's temple are open to you. Are you suggesting the Lord Captain should go down into the depths of his flagship to search for this temple? With all due respect, the lower decks are for servants and crew. They are not a fitting place for his lordship. Who is the Vizier? He is the first among us. The Vizier has spun the web of faith for fivefold longer than I have lived. Blood of the flagship's blood, my mentor and teacher. Why is the Vizier not here to deliver the message himself? The first spinner is old. His abode in the temple beneath the flagship's freight line, and he has not left the lower decks in decades. Even a short journey could sunder the spirit from his ancient body. Where is your temple located? I am not permitted to say. If you wish to find the temple, you must walk the path of Saint Ariane, the matriarch spider. What, I have to go on an adventure through my own ship? Hers was the thread that would become the Bloodspun Web. Her path began deep within the flagship in the dark tunnels of the freight line, and that is where yours must begin as well. This journey will bring you closer to the thread of the web, closer to the Undying One, closer to understanding death. Perhaps one day I will grant you that favor. I have heard the whisper of the Undying One. He awaits you, he calls to you, your time will come. The cultists retreat into the shadows as Kibella sheathes her ceremonial dagger. Your blade awaits direction, Damin Mukluk. We will speak again when the time is right. Alright, now I hope you guys brought mops, because you made a huge mess up here. To unleash the Roombas. Morning, Muck Chat. Good morning, Bluebell. Void ship map. The Rogue Trader ship is a veritable city sailing through the void. This ship has numerous compartments you could visit. Navigate these compartments using the map of the ship, which you can access from the main elevator on the bridge or from any compartment. Alright. Okay, so she's a playable character now. That was quite the haircut, too. Okay. And what does this do? If the wearer has 10 or more stacks of Blood's Blessed, they get +1 resolve. Light Spinner's Breastplate. That's 50%. The armor, it reduces the incoming damage of average enemy attacks by 10%. Okay. Spinner's Blade. And didn't her skill say if she was dual-wielding swords, she would hit twice per attack? More swords. Dude, her skirt is made out of, like, those seals. Okay. And that's a two-hander. Chainsword, one hand, 7 and 9. Let's do that. Okay. So she has got the Blade Dancer skill line, which I have never used before. So I now understand Blade Dance and Death from Above. Alright, choose a common talent. Let's see. Alright, so these are related to Blade Dancer right here. Okay. Death Cult's Assassin allies do more damage to enemies if both their ally and the target stand on blood-covered cells. Creature with the Bloodblessed or Bloodstained effect gains +1 stack of this effect whenever raining blood is inflicted again. Dance of Thorns. Each time the Death Cult Assassin parries or dodges an attack, all enemies with the Bloodstained effect suffer +1 stack. A creature with Bloodblessed or Bloodstained effect gains +1 stack of this effect whenever bleeding, burning, or toxin is inflicted on it. A creature with Bloodblessed or Stained gains +1 stack of the effect each time it suffers damage from bleeding, burning, or toxin.
Of course it's on a Monday. Woo. Morning, peeps.
Hey, Disturbed Angel, thank you. Appreciate the support. Dual weapon combat. Can attack with the second weapon and the current weapon set in addition to the usual one per round. This attack suffers a -20 to weapon skill. Ballistic skill costs 1 AP more. Plus 15% to parry. Let's get the parry. She's gonna be like running right into the middle of combat. Let's see. Agility. Character score. Agility, I guess. Oh, she has another level up. Alright, what is this? Acrobatic Artistry. Immediately return to the cell where they started their turn. This movement does not provoke attack of opportunity. If the Blade Dancer used Death from above this turn, this movement repeats all the uses of that ability in reverse. That's kind of neat. So you could just go really, far into enemy lines, then teleport back. Alright, Oath of Vengeance. Costs 8 wounds to use. Select an ally. Until the end of combat, attacks made by the Blade Dancer against enemies who have already attacked that ally gain crit chance and crit damage. This ability can be used multiple times per turn, but the bonuses do not stack. Veil of Blades. Faces a side of their choice and immediately ends their turn. Until the beginning of the Blade Dancer's next turn, they can dodge area attacks without moving, immune to all types of forced movement, gain 20% parry against attacks from that side, can now parry attacks made against all adjacent allies. While under the effect of Veil of Blades, the Blade Dancer can even parry ranged attacks, except ranged area attacks, made from that side. The chance to parry a ranged attack is calculated as if it were melee, where the attacker's weapon skill is equal to the hit chance of the attack. If the attack is parried in this way, it can be redirected toward one of the enemies on the selected side. The chance of redirection is equal to half of the Blade Dancer's parry chance against the attack. Okay, so you face an area, and you basically just start Jedi parrying. Got it. Blood Oath. Costs 8 hit points to use. Target a single enemy, vowing to dispatch their mark. The next attack against their selected enemy cannot be dodged or parried. If this attack kills the target, you regain wounds and gain AP, along with an additional attack this turn. This ability can be used multiple times per turn, but it grants +1 AP and an additional attack only once per round. And lastly, Captive Audience. Your next attack inflicts bleeding on all targets hit. Those targets must pass a toughness resistance test with -20 penalty or become immobilized for 1 round. All enemies immobilized by Captive Audience count as full cover for the Blade Dancer and their allies when adjacent. Let's get the thing where you could teleport back to where you started. Medicaid? Alright. Okay. Quick save. I want to get the Tech Priest before I dive into the DLC bowels of the ship. Make sure to use Blade Dance weapons on her, not just random melee weapons. Wait, what?